This shard pull video is going to be a real Thor spot. Hello, everyone. Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and we are here to pull some shards because the portal is growing yellow, and we have a 2x event as well as a targeted fusion for, not targeted fusion, but targeted event for Freya as well. So she is on a 10x, while we also have a 2x chance for, legendaries in general. So this is a great time to try to pull for Freya. However, there are all kinds of other events that are going to go on as well. We have a Deck of Fate that's coming up for Freya. We have the Summon Rush as well. And so in this Champ Chase, I've actually been pleasantly surprised. Polarium has actually been very, very generous with this only being 1,500 points, which means I only need to pull at most 6 Sacreds. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing on both of my accounts. I'm going to pull 6 Sacreds, and what we get is what we get. And then I'm going to save the rest for future events. Now, if I get Freya, that would be awesome. If I get another legendary, that would be awesome as well. I certainly wouldn't mind, at least on the alt, getting that mythical tome, but I'm not going to compete for the top stuff here because I am not going to pull that many Sacreds. And honestly, pulling Sacreds is kind of hard to get a lot of points in because you're either getting 250 or 500 points, and that's it. So we're going to go pull some shards. I will be right back as we get into here. We are going to hop in and we're going to grab some Pepsi because that's what we do on this channel. Pepsi will bless us, hopefully. We're going to pull 6 of them on this account and 6 of them on my main account, and I'll be right back. All right, we are back with a Pepsi, not a sponsor. Pepsi, you can change that. And we are here to pull 6 shards. Polarium, hopefully you can bless this account. We've got the Pepsi going. We are definitely making all the prayers and the sacrifices. And hopefully RNGesus will be kind to us and we can get some cool champions. Let's go. All right, that is an epic. That is a Taurus. Taurus used to be interesting in some of the poisons, particularly because he can place 4 poisons here with this skill. He puts Unkillable on himself. Amusingly enough, if you are doing speed runs, you actually do not even want to ascend him because you don't want this Unkillable. What you want is the 4 poisons, reset him the next round, put the 4 poisons out again, and then they die against the boss. Unfortunately, I did not know that, so they got the Unkillable, so they lasted a little bit longer. But, to be fair, it only added a few seconds to my speed runs. But still useful if you're doing some of the normal runs with poisons, particularly good against the Ice Golem. Honestly, it's still not a bad way to go against Dragon if you can get him to do his poisons against the Dragon to start with. But it's been power crept quite a bit, and that's really, the poison explosion teams are really no longer the meta for running through stuff. So let's keep on going. That is a Husk. Husk is definitely worth an Empower. He's got the max HP hit here, he's got the Provoke here, and he's got this skill. It's not that great. It doesn't hit very hard. It doesn't really do a lot of anything. But, it exists. But there are other 2 skills, definitely good. Usually I'll turn off that, and then I'll run the other 2 if I'm running them in Hydra. Very, very good Hydra champion. That's a legendary. That is a Harima. Awesome. Woohoo! Okay. Now I have Harimas on both my accounts. In fact, I have 2 on both accounts, but I use Harima absolutely everywhere. So this will be a very welcome empowerment. That is awesome. Harima is an absolute beast. She is usable anywhere. She's usable as a Hydra damage dealer, as an arena damage dealer. She's usable for wave clear. She's usable in a lot of the Doom Tower bosses. You can certainly use her even against Fire Knight, for example. She's got an A1 for decrease attack AoE after it hits the champion. It does decent damage. Again, defense-based champion, so she's super tanky. This is kind of her signature skill. It's a 3 times hitter that decreases the enemy's defense by 5% and increases her defense by 5%. She can get this to stack up to 100%, so she can actually double her damage over time using this skill on a 3-turn cooldown. And if she kills the target she attacks with this, she then proceeds to actually do her A3, which is also a very heavy hitter, attacks all enemies and provokes champions. You don't have to build with accuracy because if it's demon spawn faction, it cannot be resisted. On top of that, she ignores defense effects that are decreased by 50%, and that's actually on everybody. So when she's on your team, everyone's ignore defense effects are reduced by 50%. That makes her really good against Amius, and that makes her very good in Arena as well. Champions with the Demon Spawn cannot inflict critical hits on this champion, so she's practically immune to some of the big damage dealers in the Demon Spawn, as well as things like Lord Shazar, who gets better bombs if he can crit. And then this champion cannot land weak hits on champions from the Demon Spawn, which means that she is a Duchess Slayer despite being bad affinity. So Harima is an amazing, amazing champion, and that has made this well worth pulling a couple shards here. But we've got 3 left in this account, and hopefully we'll get another gold. That is a Crimson Helm. Possible to solo Bommel with a Crimson Helm. It's a very manual process. It's a very stat-intensive process. It can take, 5 to 10 minutes of manual work. Not worth it, in my opinion. 2 more. Miscreated Monster, one of the OGs. Still an okay champion. He's got an AoE stun that does a big shield as well. He's got the ally protection. He's actually pretty decent against Spider for progression. He's not bad for wave clear and wave control. He's been power crept a bit, but he does okay damage. He's fairly tanky. He's not a bad champion all around. Just kind of average. And that is an Anchorite. Anchorite is one of the buff extenders, so if you're going to build a Wixwell team, then he is one of the champions you can do that with. He's got the buff extension right here. He's also got a heal target ally and puts increased crit rate and increased damage on all allies, so he can add some damage as well. Could be decent for the Wixwell clan boss teams. Doesn't do a lot of damage himself, but it's got some pretty good utility. So that's been pretty awesome. I got an extra Harima on this account. I am super stoked. Let's go check out the main. Hopefully I can get something cool there too. All right, we are here on the main. We've got our Pepsi in hand. Here we go. Let's do this. Get something cool. Be nice to get something along with the Harima I got on the other account. Maybe even a Freya. That would be awesome. That, on the other hand, is an Ornn. Ornn is an okay champion. People, when he did there was a fusion that he was one of the epics for, and people really liked this ability. I am not a huge fan because this is a 50% chance of placing 2 poisons, bookable to 75%, and the poison sensitivity is 25%. It's still it's a 50% chance. So he doesn't place all of these all of the time. His A2 activates 1 poison. It's not even a 100% chance of acting the poison, so it's not great extra damage. And then on top of that, he gets poisons on his A1, so I honestly feel that I'd rather have his A3 and his A1 turn off his A2 most of the time to get a bunch of extra poisons out. And even then, he doesn't do it as well as he could. He was a budget solo option for progression, but he's okay. He is super tanky, though, because whenever these are activated, he gets additional defense and max HP, stacks up 25%, and that actually makes him pretty tough. He's not a bad champion, but not as good as a lot of people had hoped, at least in my opinion. That's another epic. That is a visionary. One of the first champions with, I believe, decreased resistance. Or increased crit rate, increased damage. What did she do? Decreased crit rate. Maybe she didn't have the increased resistance. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Just kind of a meh champion. She looked interesting at one point in time. Didn't turn out to be particularly good. She's got an okay speed aura at least. So could be usable maybe for some progression. But probably not a great champion. All right. That is a Wuzgar. Not a huge fan of Wuzgar. We do have 3 more. Let's go. Come on, Polarium. I would like some gold on this account too. That would be awesome. That is a Corpse Collector. Nothing particularly exciting as far as the actual champ is concerned. Definitely an interesting outfit. And Annex. Annex is great. Annex is a beast of an epic for you. He's actually really good in Clan Boss. You probably want him in block damage teams as opposed to the unkillable teams, but he's got decreased defense on the E1, a decent chance of landing it, and it's on each hit. So it's 30% chance, 35%. Sniper goes to 40%, but it's a double hit, so he's got a good chance of landing on the A1. A2 does decrease accuracy and some poisons. A3 does some weakens, so he gives you the decreased defense, weaken, and poisons. Very Fane-like. He also hits very, very hard as well. And then he's got this passive effect where he can increase his defense, he can increase attack, and he can actually get an extra turn if his HP drops too low. You got to be careful with that in an unkillable team because that can trigger and can ruin an unkillable toon. In block damage teams, he's not taking damage, therefore he never gets that bottom active effect, so it's never an issue. Overall, he's a great champion, definitely worth building. He's also can be useful in places like Bommel if you're going to build a resistance team because he's got that decreased accuracy that it can get 100%. So one more, we're getting a legendary, right, Polarium? Right, Polarium? That's legendary. That's a Tomb Lord. Now, Tomb Lord is one of the OG poisoners. He is a very good champion that got a buff to make him a great champion. He has the decreased speed on a 3-hitter on the A1. I believe I'm actually using him in my Fire Knight team right now. So actually I may empower him and that'll help my Fire Knight team. So that's nice. Not that my Fire Knight team needs help, but this is a very nice skill for Fire Knight. He's got attacks one enemy, has a 70% chance of placing 2 poisons. It becomes 2 additional poisons if he critical hits over here, and that goes up to 100%. So this is a single hit 4 poison on every champion. So the hit is only against one champion, but the poisons are against everybody in the wave. Makes him very good for soloing stuff. You can actually get him to solo waves and dragon, especially against the normal stuff at least. And then he's got decreased attack and decreased defense, which is, again, great for him soloing because he can throw the decreased attack and decreased defense out there. And so he'll be able to do more damage when he's actually attacking. And then when he is being attacked, the decreased attack or decreased defense is generally going to reduce the damage that he takes. And then finally, he's got a nice aura. It's only 70% in Doom Tower, but it's still a nice aura. So there we go. 2 new legendaries for me, not the legendary I wanted in this case. I wouldn't mind a Tomb Lord. I use them for some stuff, but I would have preferred a Freya or another Harima would have been actually better on this account. But you know what? I am not going to complain. I got a legendary. That is awesome. And that has been Bront CatHerder. So until the next video, appreciate you guys. I am closing in on the 500 subs. Definitely appreciate you guys. So you know, kick that subscribe button, hit it, smash it, whatever you want to do with it. And I'll catch you in the next video.